It's been about a week now since Wizards Unite launched, and as we continue to explore some of the basics today, I want to talk about the very basic fundamental things of battling a fortress. Now there's a lot that we do know about fortresses, but there's also a lot that we don't know about fortresses. So today's video is going to be a very beginner's guide, just kind of touching on some of the things that you'll need to know just to get started with the fortresses. Nothing too complex. The first thing about fortresses, and I'll put a little card right here, will show you kind of the XP gains for all the different levels. For this particular video, I will just tell you right now, I'm not going to be doing high level battles, obviously. And one of the first things that I can tell you is this glowing aura around the fortress. That means that either A, someone's currently battling, or someone has just battled. What you're gonna do is you do not have to have your profession established before you take on a fortress. You can do it without a profession, which you will choose at level 6, or you can choose at level 6. You don't even have to choose it then. The way you engage with a fortress is you just simply tap on the fortress. You are going to have options to choose from. You cannot go to the next chamber level until you've cleared the previous one. So for me personally, Tower Chamber 1 is, I have not beat that one yet. So Ruins Chamber 5 is the highest one that I've beat. We're not gonna get anywhere near that today. If you are just starting out, Ruins Chamber 1, Ruins Chamber 2, the higher up the chamber, the better the potential for rewards, the higher the XP. So once you choose your chamber that you want to battle in, then you're going to get the option to choose runestones. And if you remember that graphic, the runestones affect the amount of XP that you're going to get. It's also going to affect the strength of the opponents that you're going up against. So if you are just beginning, I highly recommend just going down to runestone 1. And for me personally, like, they don't really matter. The runestones are going to do is they're going to dictate what kind of reward you're going to get. If you're not working on grinding out a specific registry, then you can just pick whichever one you have the most of. But first, before I do this, what I want to do is let's check out what we have here first and foremost. I'm going to go ahead and collect this since I've already prestiged up this. I believe I actually need this foundable, but whenever you're battling in the early stages of the game, and if you're watching a beginner's video, you are in the early stages of the game, I highly recommend putting a brain elixir, drinking a brain elixir, because that's going to give you double the XP. So the way that you do that is you go into your suitcase, you go into your vault, and then Barufio's brain elixir, I'm going to use. You're going to get double XP for 30 minutes. This is a good way to grind significant amounts of XP. XP is going to be how you level up. Back to the fortress. So I'm going to go into Ruins Chamber 1. I'm going to use my rune stone for the care of magical creatures, since I have 5 of them. And then you're going to wait a bit of time for players, if you're around other players, to join in. You can have up to 5 people join in on your tower. Now, if at the bottom there, if your entire screen is grayed out, that means that you have not unlocked any skills within your profession, and that's okay. For these levels, you don't need them at all. You do want to be aware, though, that you have just 5 minutes to defeat this entire tower. Now, there are 3 different types of enemies that you're going to come up against. Since I am a professor, I am going to be neutral against this particular enemy. The way that you can tell is where those 3 slashes are on the Urkling. If I am efficient against them, I'm going to have a green up arrow. If I'm deficient against them, I'm going to have a down red arrow. And if I do neutral damage against them, I'm going to have nothing, which you see here. You do have the option of turning AR on and doing AR battles. For this particular battle, I'm not going to, but you can see the AR on off switch there. And then you simply hit start to engage the battle. The way that you're going to battle is whenever your wand comes up, you tip the glowing part of your wand and you drag that over to the circle that is in front of the enemy that you're trying to battle. When it is not your turn to attack or cast a spell, you're going to want to cast Protego to defend yourself. You basically just start at one end and you pull towards which direction the arrow is pointing. And you just keep repeating this process until you have successfully knocked out your opponent. I'm interrupting this video because I did realize that I forgot to include one rather important bit of information, and that is spell energy. If you look on the bottom right hand corner, you will see how much spell energy you have available. Every time you cast a spell, it is going to cost you 1 spell energy. So make sure before you go into fighting any of these fortresses, these wizarding challenges, that you have enough spell energy to last you for the duration of the number of battles you want to do. All right, let's jump back into the video. Now, since I am in Chamber 1 Ruin with Runestone 1, I just had the one, ooh, I got some Hagrid's Hut, which is very nice. I just had the one enemy to take down. Like I said, this is not going to be very difficult for most of you. It'll probably be a little more difficult than what you just saw, simply because I have leveled up my skill tree on my professor. One thing that you're going to want to do is, if you are going to battle in a group and you have chosen your professions, make sure you have a wide variety. Now, on these early levels, it's not going to be that big of a difference, but as you start climbing up and going up into the higher levels, it's going to make a big difference, because the different professions assist the other professions in different ways, which are going to make taking out these fortresses significantly more easy. One more battle. We're going to go into a Ruins Chamber 2 this time, and I'm going to use a Runestone level 2, and since I have 2 Runestones for Ministry of Magic, I'm just going to go ahead and use that. This time I have a little bit more time. It looked like 18 seconds for anybody else to join in. I don't know if anybody else is playing around me, other than I saw the fortresses had the glowing aura around them, and so that lets me know that someone might join in. If you have a group of people, this is where they would join in. Just make sure that you guys all go in together. Now, because I have a skill and it is a green skill, you just tap on that and you drag it up to either yourself or more likely your other people that are battling in the fortress with you. Now, you can see on this pixie, you can see that it is, I can't remember what the purple is, but you can see that I am proficient against the pixie. So I'm going to start the encounter. Pixies are a little more difficult. They bounce around quite a bit, as you can see right off the bat. Trace your spells just like you do when battling a Soundable out in the wild, and a lot of this works for oddities as well. So with an oddity, you are going to have the same battle mechanic as you do for the fortresses. You're just not going to have all the additional stuff like the hexes and all that kind of stuff. So if you look down, you now see that I have additional options to choose from. So what I'm going to do is take my middle one here, which is a hex, and I'm going to drop it on the opponent, and then I'm just going to battle. Now you can see that this Common Dark Wizard has a down red arrow. That means that I'm deficient against it. But the hex that I put on means that every time he attacks me, he's going to lose HP. So again, touch on the tip of your wand, the glowing portion. That's going to make it significantly more easy in order to align those circles. You do have to wait for the circle to completely fill. Make sure that when you cast your spell, you trace over the red dot that is on the spell. And 2 enemies down. I got an advanced rune translation. I got rune plus 50 bonus and 100 level 2 bonus, a Ruins Chamber 2 bonus. So lots of bonuses, lots of XP. 260 got doubled. I'm pretty sure that that was doubled. Let's see what it says on the bottom screen here. It says 520. So those were both doubled, and then that is basically how you take down a challenge. And let me battle this fortress just one more time. I'm just going to go into the Ruins Chamber 3, and you don't have to use a runestone that corresponds with the chamber that you are in. So what I'm going to do is go back down here, and Magizoology runestone, I have 3 of those, so I'm going to use that. It's going to give me 20 seconds to wait for an opponent to join in, and I'm going to show you how to use your potions. There are different potions you can do that'll give you, and this is a little more advanced, but it will give you focus, and focus is going to help the damage that you do to your opponent. It's a little more high level than just the basics, So I'll get into that in more detail, but I do want to show you how to use your potions here. I'm going up against a werewolf. You can see as a professor, I am going to be proficient against the werewolf. So I'm going to start. The way that you use your potions is down here in the bottom corner. You see the little glass counter. You can use this strong invigoration draught, which grants 3 focus for casting strategic spells in wizard challenges. Or if you have this invigoration draught, which is only going to grant 1 focus for casting. Additionally, you have the Extimulo potions. I used my baby one on that last foundable, so I have 9 of the strong, and I have 3 of the potent, and then I have 9 of the healing potions. My stamina is already full, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and drop down this strong potion here. And first thing I'm going to have to do is defend, since it took me so long in order to pick my potion there. The mechanics are going to be the same, but as you can see, this werewolf has now 260 HP that I'm going to have to work through. So it definitely gets more complicated as you move up, and then the foes that you face are stronger. They have more HP. They do significantly more damage. Now, one thing, even after you cast your Protego, you're still going to take damage. So just because you do that, let's see, 138 to 21, so that's 17 damage that was done despite my casting the spell. I did not finish closing out my circle there, so I missed my opportunity to cast a spell. And it's not that big a deal because I was there for my Protego. You definitely don't want to miss too many of them though, because then you start doing a significant amount of damage. You can see now my potion has run out. It was only good for 3 attacks, I believe. And now I'm starting to run low on health. So if I go with a health potion, you want to keep more than 2 attacks worth of health possible, because sometimes you get a double attack, like I just got attacked there, and that can really mess you up. So now that I'm down to 53 health, I'm going to go over here, I'm going to tap my bottles, and I'm going to use a potion. This is going to restore 35% of my max HP. So it's not just a set number that it's going to restore, it's a percentage of your HP that it's going to return. And one more attack here is going to knock out the werewolf. At the beginning levels, the level 3 is probably going to be a little challenging. Shouldn't be too much to overcome unless you haven't leveled up your skill tree in any way, shape, or form. So now I go up against an Urkling, which I'm neutral against, and I'm definitely going to have to do some potions here. You don't need to be overly cautious with your potions because you can always brew new potions, but you definitely don't want to use them unnecessarily. So I'm going to replenish 35%, and you can stack potions. So now I'm going to use a strong potion here, and I'm also going to, well, I was going to use one of the draughts, but I just don't need it, but I'll use one anyways. So I'm going to go with the invigoration draught. Oh, my focus is already full, so I don't even need it. It won't let me use it if I don't need it, which is good to know. You can't overuse. Protego power, and I'm down to 1 minute to go because I've been talking through this whole thing. Hopefully I don't have to knock out 3 of these creatures in order to be successful in this tower. A critical hit does more damage, and there are ways that you can improve your critical hits. I just don't have all those down, and it's not really a basic element. Ooh, a Thunderbird. That's new for me. It's not really a basic element of the battles because it's kind of RNG based. There are ways to improve your chances of doing critical hits, and that all comes in your skill tree. So 540 XP, 20 cups, and 10 cups, or 10 level ups. I don't know what you would call those for those 2 things. I'm going to go to my suitcase. I'm going to go to my registry. I'm going to go to challenges because it looks like now I have completed something, and there it is right there. Books 2 I've now completed, which is going to level me up closer to rank 12. And then in my registry, those other items that I picked up, like Hagrid's Hut, you can see I have 1 of 15. Anyway, that is going to be your very basic overview of fortresses, how to battle, how to be successful, and we will get into more of an intermediate and an advanced guide as I progress through the game. Anyway, let me know what you guys learned out of this. Let me know if there was anything that I missed about the fortresses, and until next time.